off of New Zealand, or was it?
No, I bought it from the guy in Australia.
Oh, so it actually hasn't been registered here yet?
No.
Oh, I got it.
I bought the XY off this guy, and then he rang me up a bit later and said, I'm doing an XA if you want it. And I said, oh, okay. So got the XA.
Well, this is your original one that you used to drive around in.
That's it.
It is.
There's nothing like this anywhere in the world, I can guarantee you that. This car was completely stripped down, totally stripped down.
Really?
All the paint, like all the bolts have been replated. Everything's new. It's better than it ever was when it was brand new, because look at the quality of the paint.
And you've even got the gold wheels.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So did you bought this one new when you moved here?
I bought it in 2000.
And when you came to here, to this property, and this was your farm vehicle?
Yeah, I bought it when I was living in Methven. I brought it up here.
Yeah.
And
how many Ks on it now?
200,000. I did about the first 50, and then the employees used to use it here.
Oh,
and they sort of ran up the mileage, and then I decided to take it back and fix it up. So obviously now they don't drive it.
That is so awesome.
I mean, have a look at the interior.
Because you've seen the Top Gear episode where they try and destroy it.
Yeah. We got the seats retrimmed in leather, but just like it looks just the same as the factory carpet.
That is incredible. What was the motivation? Obviously,
I wanted to rebuild the cars like new.
Did it start off like small? Oh, we'll just fix up this.
No, you know the avid guy.
Yes.
Dev?
Yep.
Yeah, I got he masterminded the project. I think some mob called Burke's Motorworks did the work. Dev managed the whole project, and I told him, I said, I want you to rebuild it like new and make it perfect.
Wow.
I mean, look at the quality of the paint.
I know, it's beautiful.
And all this, I mean, all this stuff this is the original colour.
Yes.
But because the paint was just industrial shit.
Yes.
And, you know, same with all this, and all the chassis.
Oh, yeah. Underneath is like all your fuel lines look new.
Yeah, they are new.
They are new.
The whole car's new.
So David has just showed us around this Toyota Hilux. 20 years since you had it.
2000 model.
2000 model. And it's just completely resorted. I mean, some people would say it's a bit insane, but it's beautiful to look at, isn't it?
It's ridiculous, but... You know.
And, I mean, David was just saying that the level of detail is literally... every nuts and bolts. It was stripped back, and it's basically everything is new.
Yeah. Car completely disassembled and then put back together.
Incredible. And this was the vehicle that you used when you first came up here, and you would use it to travel around the farm.
Yeah.
But not anymore.
No.
It's a showpiece.
Not going off-road.
That's a museum piece now.
Yeah, this is definitely cool. So what have we got here?
It's a 488 Challenge. That was my practice car. It's got about 8,000 Ks on it, all done here. The beat-up one, wherever it is, was my first race car. But I brought this car as a practice car because I had the race car over at the rounds. Mm-hmm. Like Ferrari look after the cars and they just take them to each round. But obviously it was up in Asia. I wanted to have to practice, so I bought this car as a practice car.
Got it. And so
I've done a couple of thousand laps on the track in this car.
And Ferrari, still your favourite cars to drive?
It's a good car. Yeah, nice. Really good car.
Awesome. And what have we got here? What's the story behind the Lotus?
This is a Lotus V6 Cup. This is basically their homologation car for a one-make series they had going for a while.
And so did you drive this in a series or?
No, it's just a road car.
Yeah.
So it's got a Toyota V6 turbo, and it's actually a pretty good car. It's light. It's got about, I think it's 345 horsepower. Goes well. Obviously, the chassis is good.
So a good power to weight ratio for this one.
Yeah, it's quick.
Yeah. And you have other Lotuses or just this one?
Yeah, I got a 340R here, and in Australia I got a Exige 260 Cup, which is like the the MoMac Series car sort of before this one, in the old shape, the smaller car.
And so some of these sort of cars, what sort of mileage are we talking? Like how many kilometres are you putting on them?
I think this has got about 4,000 miles on it.
Got it. And from new?
From new.
Awesome. Yeah. And then tell us about this one. This is one of your pride and joy.
Well, this is the Ferrari Monza, the SP2.
How many of these were produced?
I think it was 499, 599. I don't know.
Yeah, and you did do a couple little mods on this one yourself?
We tried to improve the wind deflector because the way it is at the moment, you can't really drive the car above 60k unless you wear a helmet. And when you put the helmet on, you can't hear the engine, which kind of defeats the purpose.
Yes.
So.
And, I mean, is this public knowledge? What are these sort of worth? What are these vehicles?
I think it's worth twice what I paid for it.
Have they increased?
Like €3.5 million or something.
Really? So, I mean, for those that don't know, I mean, how does the value of these increase? I mean, most people think cars, you drive them off the lot and they go down.
Well, most of them do it. And look, even the Ferraris, a lot of them do go down, but these don't go down because this is a very rare model. If Ferrari had been getting a couple of things done, I'd have the SP3 here now, the Daytona, but it's still up in Auckland.
And if you've got your driver's helmet on, is it nice to drive?
It's a good car to drive, but the problem with the helmet is all you can hear then is the wind noise of the air rushing past the helmet, so it takes away the enjoyment. You can't hear the engine.
Does it have a stereo?
I don't know.
Do you listen to music when you drive?
I haven't had music going in my car for years.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just happy to listen to the engine.
Yes.
That's the beauty of these cars.
What's your favourite sounding car?
I probably like the FF the best because it's got an aftermarket tubey on it. It's not particularly loud, but it's got an absolutely lovely note to it.
And so that is this one down here?
Yeah, the one with the F0 number plate. Well, you know, this is a practical car. It's actually a four-seater and it's got a hatchback so you can put the seats down and actually get a lot of stuff in it. So, you know, if you need to pick up someone from the airport and they got suitcases, you can actually manage it.
So this one is a daily driver?
I try to drive them all by just rotating around.
Got it.
I don't just drive one all the time. So yes. I try to, you know, but I have done a fair bit of mileage in this car. I think it's got 28,000 k's on it.
And the McLaren. So you've obviously got this one, the Senna. How many McLarens?
I got 3 more of them in Dubai. 650S, a 675 LT and a 600 LT.
And is this one new? Because I don't think
I bought it new. It's got about 4,000 k's on it.
Right. And so those 4,000, is that mostly just driving to Christchurch and back, or are you going on road trips?
Been to Highlands twice.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to drive on the track?
It's okay, but none of the road cars are that good on the track compared to the racing car.
Yeah.
You know, like you want to drive the racing cars on the track if you want to drive on the track because then you can drive them flat out. Even these road cars are a little bit soft and flabby for the track.
And the colour, I feel like you normally have black, white, red. So what was that?
McLaren's got a more adventurous colour range than Ferrari.
Yes.
So I thought I'd go for something, you know. We even got the wheels painted the same colour as the body.
Do you know how many Ferraris you've got? Because there are a lot here.
I think it's about 25
worldwide. And so do you have an equivalent collection in Australia or most of the cars are here?
I got the first new Ferrari ever bought, a 355 over there, but that's all. All the rest of them are here. I got 2 in Europe, like 2 in Italy and 4 or 5 in Dubai.
So you have, because when you say worldwide, so New Zealand, Australia, Dubai,
and Italy.
And Italy, that's your main sort of bases.
Yeah, I got a house in Italy, so I had a GTC4 there and a 488.
Amazing. So let's have a little look outside at some of these cars. What do we have down the end, David? What's this one?
This is the Roma. It's actually a pretty good car. This is a sort of, this is the kind of car you could easily buy and drive day to day, every day, no issue at all. You know, like it's...
And is that factory, that sort of matte finish, or is that have you had it wrapped or something?
It's shiny black, but we got a satin clear wrap put on it.
Got it.
So the car's actually shiny black, but I just thought we'd go for something a bit more interesting. You can get the paint for the factory that looks like this, but if you get a mark on it, you can't fix it, you know, because as soon as you try to polish it up, it gets shiny, and then you got a shiny spot. So it's not very practical, and it's also super expensive. So we went for the wrap which is good because obviously driving here, stone chips are just unbelievable. So at least you got some
It's
chance.
almost got like a vantage type
Yeah,
shape
it's
to it.
nice car. And look, it's got 600 horsepower. It's quite small and compact, handles real well, goes real well. It's really a good car.
And then this one's been around for a little bit.
No, I don't think so. What have we got here? 2022 812 GTS. It's a convertible, so it's got a hard folding roof.
And are you a fan of convertibles to drive?
I'm not really a fan of them, but they are fun. Like in the summer, it's nice, you know.
Yes.
Put the roof down. It's got a V12.
Yeah, and it does get hot here too, doesn't it?
It does.
And so we're here in Mount Lyford, or just close to Waiau in North Canterbury, and you can tell by the grass, it just burns off this time of the year. It's hot, it's dry.
Yeah.
And this one?
812 competition only. It's the sort of the high-end version of the 812 line.
So do you have most Ferrari models that they've produced from recent times?
I got pretty much everything built since 2009.
Wow.
430
And
Scuderia, 458 Italia, Speciale, Pista, 488s, most of all the four. I got 6 488s if you count the challenge cars.
And your oldest, what's the oldest Ferrari that you have?
Well, I bought a 355 in 95, 96.
95, 96.
Then I didn't get another car till 2010. That was the 430.
Was that your first luxury car that you ever bought?
Well, I guess so. I mean, I had a couple of new Fords before that, but they probably don't count.
Yeah, and have you managed to keep all of your cars, or you have traded some over the years?
I've got every new Ferrari I ever bought, still got them.
Wow.
I think I'd be the only customer Ferrari's got in that position. Every single car. I've never sold one.
You must be a loyal customer. You would hope that they look after you.
I had I had 1 or 2 used cars that I sold, but not any of the new cars. So still got them all.
That's cool. And this one?
Portofino, it's another convertible. And, you know, like these cars are great because it's an easy day-to-day driver. You know, 600 horsepower, so it's super quick.
Yes.
Not a big car, so it's easy to park. You can see out of it. It's got a bit of a boot. I mean, you know, like, you just can't go past.
Are you one to double park in two car spaces if you go to the supermarket so no one can...
I go to this Countdown in Amberley that's got an enormous car park that is never full, and I always park in the same spot right out the back, and I can just take up 2 spaces without inconvenience in any way. But there's, it never gets full, so, you know.
Have you ever had a car keyed or scratched or anything like that?
Yeah, I had my FF in Dubai up at my house in Italy for years, and we went to Austria to buy a GP2, and some guy scratched it all the way up the side. So, yeah.
Yeah. And this one here, must have been recently driven because it's got a few
I drove
bugs.
it yesterday.
How do you keep all these cars clean?
I got someone who comes up and does it because I'm too old. It hurts my back. So yeah, she was here yesterday.
Yeah, the cars are kept immaculate. It's beautiful.
296. You know.
And are you one, like, when you have these cars, do you drive them how they should be, or do you sort of treat them a bit
No,
precious and
get on them. I mean, you know, I drive them as hard as you drive on the road.
And like if you have
I on the track, like if I go to the supermarket, I'll do a lap on the track when I come back.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to drive the car as hard as it'll go because they don't respond well to that, you know. But I'll drive it, you know, enthusiastically.
And because there were times when we were driving up here to make videos, and you had to drive across the riverbed when the bridges were shut down. You were still taking your cars across the riverbed?
Oh, well, as long as you can manage it, yeah. I mean, look, I like driving them and I'm going to drive them, and they're going to get stone chips and it's a pain in the neck, but you just got to deal with it.
This has been interesting. So pretty much last year I started noticing a change in cars, and we've started going towards some more classics and some Australian muscle cars and things like that.
Oh, I grew up with these cars, you know. So, and look, they're like they've been restored, so it's like buying a new car. So it's like turning the clock back. It's not like you're not really buying a 50-year-old car, you know. And so they're as good as you remember them when you were a kid. It's like it's perfect.
Yeah, and is this sort of something that you're sort of changing and you're starting to build more of a classic collection? Do you think it'll keep going, or you're not sure?
I'm trying to find an E38 Charger at the moment, and maybe one or two others, but that'll be all.
And like these sort of cars, how does one even find them? Are you just looking in the auction houses
they
or
come
contacts?
They come up for sale, and you know people, and you find out about it.
And
I know a lot of car dealers, and
you were telling me that you learnt to drive in a car like this, not the GT model.
Yeah.
The Escort, because this is pretty cool. So tell us about the Escort. Mark II Escort?
Its only real attraction is it's got a 5-litre V8 stuck in it. Yeah.
So like this here, what does this drive like?
Pretty shit.
It must be a bit of a dog.
It's not great. I saw it on Trade Me probably 4 or 5 months ago. I bought it straight away. It was on the North Island. I got my financial controller to go down and pick it up. Paul's just been sort of going over it, and we're just sort of fixing things because, look, these sort of cars are usually done by guys that haven't got a lot of facilities, and there's always a lot of detail things you got to deal with. And this is no different, but we will get it running right.
Have you ever been to Summer Nats?
No, and I'm not.
I feel like this is a Summer Nats type vehicle. So what did they use this one for?
They just drove it around on the road.
Yeah, it really looks like something that you would see on a skid pan doing donuts. Like, it just looks aggressive and bad, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Behind us, we got the Mad Max.
Yeah, well, everyone knows that story. We're putting all new running gear in it at the moment. Front suspension, rear axle, and we're going to build a new engine and put a functional blower on it because the blower on it was just ornamental.
And because this one you were driving quite a bit.
Done about 10,000 miles since I bought it.
10,000 miles. So like long haul drives or mostly?
The only real driving I do is either driving to the airport or driving to the supermarket on a Sunday, and I just try to take a different car every trip.
Yeah, and lastly, this one over here.
Yeah,
this is cool. The team here, they tell me you drive this one a lot. This is one of your favourites.
Yeah, well, it's got a nice engine note. Everything else is pretty shit. But, the engine had a fair bit of work done on it, so it was quite fun to drive. We put a TKX gearbox in it, which is way better than what was in it, and we're building a new engine for it. It's going to be a 427, all aluminium, small block Ford. And
the Cyclone, what is the Cyclone mean?
It's some drag shit thing. We'll repaint it. And
so this was drag raced?
Mostly amateur stuff, but yeah.
New Zealand, Australia, or not sure?
New Zealand. We got it from some guy in Auckland. Hammer found it.
Well, thank you very much for giving us a tour of just some of the cars. Like what we've seen here, would you say that's half of your cars or?
Something like that.
Give or take. Cool. Thanks, David.
Yeah, no
much
worries.
Appreciated.